I recently learned about a new painting method, and today we're going to be testing it out on the Cypher Lords from the Warcry warbands. Alright, so for a while now I've been base coating models in a lighter tone, but for this method we're going to start with a all black primer and then do a couple layers of dry brushing to create some natural shadows and highlights. We're going to start things off with a fairly heavy dry brush, almost an overbrush of neutral gray. And then we'll follow that up with a light dry brush of parchment. This will create some different colorations at different elevations on the model. Now we're going to use some Akellen green to paint the center section of the cloak. Now I started using some Lividian blue on the upper cloak, but immediately disliked that and used a wet brush to remove the coloration, and then started painting it on the lower section of the cloak. But right about here, I started to realize that it didn't look as nice as I wanted, so we're going to remove that as well. Now once I fixed the dry brushing, I switched to a purple, and using some Luxion purple, I painted the upper section of the cloak, and I liked that a lot better, so I started doing the rest of the cloak in that coloration. Now my camera has a little bit of focus issues, but as it comes into focus, you should be able to see some natural shading and highlights created by the different dry brushes that were applied to the model. Alright, now we're going to use some Magos purple, and this is going to go over all of these little plumes coming out of the headdress. Now, about here I realized that I didn't like how much purple there was, so I removed the lower section of purple, fixed the dry brushing again, and we're going to try a slightly lighter color. So we're going to go with some Briar Queen Chill, and I don't know what it was about this color, but to me it immediately fixed the issues that I was having and looked a lot nicer. So now we're going to switch to a different model, which will help kind of show a bit more of the skin tones that I'm trying to impart. I'm using some Dark Oath Flesh on all of the skin tones, and once I'm done here you can really see how just a simple pre-dry brush of the model really imparts a lot of instantaneous shadow and raised coloration highlight. So far, I'm really enjoying this painting method, though I am noticing that I'm going to have to start picking out color schemes a lot more in advance and doing a lot more test painting in advance. So now we're going to use some Basilicanum Gray, and this is going to paint over this model's headdress, but all of the models in the squad are going to get this painted over all of their weapons, and any of them that have armor, it's going to go a light coating over the armor as well. Now I'm going to use some black Templar. There's a lot of straps on these models, mostly on their forearms and their ankles and legs. So I'm using this to just do a light coating over all of the straps, just to give a definite difference of color compared to the rest of the model. Now normally I use snakebite leather, but given the skin tones of the model, it would just blend in way too much. Now I'm going to use some Retributor armor. On this model it's going to be done on most of the headdress, but on all the other models in the squad, it's going to be the helmet section and a few of the accents. Alright, and on all of the models with weaponry, it's going to be used to paint the hilt guard and the pommels. And all of the models with a belt have this nice little sun disc, so we're going to paint that, and a lot of the trim on the armored sections. Now I'm going to use some granite steel and do a kind of light dry brush on all of the weapons to give it a kind of bluish silver shine. And I think that really helps set the weapons apart from the rest of the armor sections or the rest of the model. Now I'm going to do the same thing with lead belcher on all of the armor sections. This will help create a two-tone difference between the metallics. Now using some aethermatic blue, I'm going to paint the front and back sections of the headdresses. Then using some granite steel, I'm going to paint a lot of the small details and embellishments that are on the models. And then a little bit of snakebite leather on any of the handle wraps and the tails leading up to the tufts on the headdresses. Now using some Spirit Stone Red, I'm going to paint the center of all these little dangling jewels. It's going to be a very, very strong color contrast compared to the rest of the model and really help it pop. And here we are with the finished squad. I really like this painting method. It's not exactly faster, but it is considerably less stress when it comes to getting fine details going. So please everyone hit that like button, subscribe for future content, comment in the comment section, and we will see everyone next episode.